Have you ever prayed for something, worked for it, sacrificed for it, and then watched it fail? Crumble. Disappear. And years later, you discovered that the failure saved your life. That the closed door was protection. That the loss was actually a gift wrapped in sandpaper. If yes, you already know Al-Khidr. You just didn't know his name. This video is not a retelling of an old story. It is a mirror. Because the journey of Moses and Al-Khidr is not ancient history. It is your biography. Your career is the ship. Your child is the boy. Your future is the wall. And the architect of the unseen is still building. Let us begin. The world's greatest heart surgeon would fail miserably at fixing a car engine. The world's best architect cannot perform brain surgery. Expertise in one field is ignorance in another. Moses was the greatest expert in divine law. He had the Torah. He spoke to God. He split the sea. By any human measure, he was the most knowledgeable person on earth. One day, after giving a sermon to the children of Israel, he was asked, "Who is the most knowledgeable person on earth?" And Moses answered honestly, based on everything he knew, "I am." Moses was not being arrogant. He was measuring himself against what he could see. But God sees what we cannot see. So God did not punish Moses. He corrected him. He told Moses, "There is a servant of mine at the junction of the two seas. He knows what you do not know. Go find him." Here is the painful truth. You are also an expert in something. And also a beginner in something else. The question is not whether you know. The question is, do you know where your knowledge ends? How do you find what you do not know? God gave Moses a strange map. Not coordinates. Not GPS. A dead fish in a basket. "Carry this fish," he said. "When it comes back to life and slips into the sea, you will find my servant." Moses and his young servant Joshua set out together. They walked for days. The fish dried in the sun. Nothing happened. Nothing. Until they reached a rock. Exhausted, they sat down and slept. When they woke, they left the rock and continued walking. The day passed. The heat grew. Moses became tired. Hungry. Frustrated. Finally, he said to Joshua, "Bring us our morning meal. We have suffered much fatigue from this journey." And then Joshua remembered. He said, "Do you remember when we rested at the rock? I forgot the fish. Satan made me forget to mention it. It made its way into the sea in a marvelous way." Moses stopped. His tired eyes widened. His hunger disappeared. He said, "That is what we were seeking." And they turned back. They retraced their steps. They walked the same path again, but this time, they were not walking blindly. They were walking toward the miracle they had almost missed. At the rock, they found a man wrapped in a cloak. A man unknown to history but known to heaven. Al-Khidr. The teacher of the unseen. The one they had traveled so far to meet. Here is the unsettling question. How many dead fish have you carried without noticing when they came back to life? How many miracles have walked right past you while you were focused on the road? The sign was there. You just did not see it. Turn back. It is not too late. The miracle is still there. The man in the cloak is still waiting. But you must be willing to walk the same road twice. Once to miss it. Once to find it. The fish came back to life. So can your journey. Imagine two maps of the same city. The first map shows every street. Every traffic light. Every building. You can drive with this map. You will never get lost. This is Moses' knowledge. Precise. Useful. Perfect for navigating the present. This is law. Ethics. The rules that hold civilization together. The second map shows no streets. It shows underground water pipes. Electrical cables. Gas lines. You cannot drive with this map. But if you dig without it, you die. This is Al-Khidr's knowledge. You cannot see it. You cannot measure it. But ignoring it destroys your future. Both maps are true. Both are useful. But they are not the same. And confusing one for the other is how disasters begin. How many times have you used a street map to dig a hole? How many times have you demanded immediate justice when what you needed was hidden preservation? Al-Khidr said to Moses, "My knowledge and your knowledge together do not decrease the knowledge of God except as this bird's sip decreases the sea." Imagine that. A bird flies over an endless ocean. It dips its beak into the water. A single drop clings to the tip. Then it flies away. That drop, that tiny, insignificant drop, represents the combined knowledge of every human being who has ever lived. Every prophet. Every scientist. Every philosopher. Every mystic. All of it. One drop. The ocean is the knowledge of God. Now here is the uncomfortable question. How much of your anxiety comes from acting as if your drop is the entire ocean? How much of your anger, your frustration, your impatience, comes from forgetting that you are standing on a shore you will never fully measure? The bird is not humble. The bird is just accurate. And accuracy is the highest form of humility. The moment you think your drop is the ocean, you have already drowned in your own arrogance. Before the journey begins, Al-Khidr speaks. He does not welcome Moses with a smile. He does not say, "How wonderful that you have come." He says something much stranger. He says, "You will not be able to have patience with me." Imagine that. You travel for days. You cross deserts. You endure thirst. You turn back when you missed the sign. You finally find the teacher you were sent to meet. And his first words are, "You are not ready for me." Not because you are ignorant. Not because you are unworthy. But because patience is not a switch you can turn on. It is a muscle. And muscles tire. They tear. They fail when the weight is too heavy for too long. Moses does not argue. He does not defend himself. He responds with a promise, a vow that echoes through the rest of the story. He says, "You will find me, if God wills, patient. And I will not disobey you in any command." Two promises. First, patience. Second, obedience. One is internal. One is external. And both are about to be tested. But here is the hidden truth. Moses did not know what he was promising. He had never met anyone like Al-Khidr. He had never encountered actions that were morally wrong on the surface and divinely right beneath. He was promising patience to a teacher whose lessons would look like crimes. Imagine signing a contract in a language you do not read. Imagine swearing to be calm while watching someone tear apart everything you believe is just. That is what Moses did. Al-Khidr knew. He knew before Moses spoke. That is why he warned him. Not to discourage him. But to give him a chance to say no. To walk away. To protect himself from the trauma of witnessing what he could not understand. But Moses said yes. He said, "If God wills." He anchored his promise not to his own strength, but to the one who holds all strength. And that is the only kind of patience that survives. Not patience that comes from confidence in yourself. Patience that comes from trust in the one who designed the test. Moses was about to enter a classroom where the lessons made no sense. Where the teacher seemed cruel. Where the student was always right by human logic, and always wrong by divine wisdom. And the only grade that mattered was not intelligence. It was not piety. It was not courage. It was how long he could stay silent before his heart broke. First trial. Moses and Al-Khidr board a ship. The crew recognizes Al-Khidr. Out of respect, they offer free passage. A gift. An honor. No payment. No expectation. Just generosity. Then Al-Khidr does something inexplicable. He takes a single plank from the side of the ship. He tears it loose. Water rushes into the hole. The ship shudders. The crew panics. Moses cannot stay silent. His voice erupts. They gave us free passage. They honored us. And you ruin their ship? You want to drown them? You have done something terrible. This is not forgetfulness. This is not confusion. This is full, clear, moral outrage. By every law of gratitude, reciprocity, and basic human decency, Moses is right. Al-Khidr does not explain. He simply says, "Did I not tell you that you cannot have patience with me?" Moses stops. He breathes. He remembers his promise. He lowers his voice and says, "Do not hold me accountable for what I forgot. Do not burden me with something too hard." Al-Khidr says nothing. The ship sails on. The hole remains. The water continues to leak. The crew works in silence. And Moses sits in confusion, watching the damage, waiting for an explanation that will not come. Not yet. You have a ship. It is your job. Your marriage. Your health. Your dream. Someone has torn a plank from it. You are watching the water rise. You are screaming, "Why? This is not fair. I did not deserve this." And there is no answer. Not yet. The teacher is silent. The explanation is stored in a future you cannot see. All you have is the hole. And the promise you made to trust. The ship is still sailing. Do not jump yet. Second trial. They leave the damaged ship behind. They walk through a village. Children are playing in the streets. Laughing. Running. Innocent. Then Al-Khidr sees a boy. Not a warrior. Not an enemy. A child, playing with other children. Al-Khidr approaches him. He takes the boy by the head. And he kills him. Moses explodes. He cannot contain himself. Did you kill an innocent soul? Not in revenge. Not in war. Not in judgment. Just killed. You have done a horrible thing. This time, there is no forgetfulness. There is no "I forgot my promise." Moses is fully present. He understands exactly what he witnessed. And his entire being rejects it. The law is clear. Do not kill. The innocent must be protected. A child's laughter is sacred. Al-Khidr has violated the most fundamental rule of human ethics. Moses is not wrong. By every moral framework, he is right. Al-Khidr does not explain. He simply repeats, "Did I not tell you that you cannot have patience with me?" Moses pauses. The anger is still burning in his chest. But he does not apologize this time. He does not say "I forgot." Instead, he draws a line. He says, "If I ask you about anything after this, then do not keep me in your company. You have obtained from me an excuse. This is an ultimatum." Moses is saying, "I have failed twice. I will not fail again. If I do, leave me. He is not promising patience anymore. He is promising consequences. He is holding himself accountable. Al-Khidr says nothing. The dead boy lies still. Moses walks in silence. He follows. But his heart is heavy. His trust is cracked. And he has just told his teacher, the next mistake will be the last. The road continues. But Moses knows that one more slip, and the journey ends. Third trial. They arrive at a village. The people are cold. Unwelcoming. They refuse hospitality. They turn Moses and Al-Khidr away. No food. No water. No shelter. They are hungry. Tired. Insulted. Then Al-Khidr sees a wall. It is old. Cracked. About to collapse. Any moment it will fall and crush whatever is behind it. And Al-Khidr begins to repair it. With his own hands. Stone by stone. Hour after hour. He works for free. For people who refuse to feed him. For a village that slammed its doors in his face. Moses watches. His stomach is empty. His patience is gone. His mind is racing. He has held his tongue twice before. Once for the ship. Once for the boy. But this? Working for free for people who insulted them. He cannot hold back any longer. The words explode from his throat. If you wished, you could have taken a wage for this. We are starving. They turned us away. And you rebuild their wall. For nothing. Moses is right. By every logic of economic fairness, of reciprocity, of basic human dignity, he is right. But he is also exhausted. He has failed 3 times now. Each time, he promised patience. Each time, his heart broke when he saw what he could not understand. He does not know why the ship was cracked. He does not know why the boy was killed. He does not know why this wall is being built for free. And no explanation comes. Have you been there? Have you ever done something good for someone who hurt you? Have you ever watched kindness flow toward people who did not deserve it? Have you ever repaired a wall for a village that locked its doors in your face? And you asked, why? And there was no answer. Only silence. Only the weight of not knowing. Moses stands there. Hungry. Tired. Confused. The wall is now straight and strong. The villagers who refused them food will benefit from it. And Moses has no explanation. None. He does not walk away. He waits. He waits in the fog of not understanding. The explanation is coming. But not yet. Let us pause. Let us look at what Moses has witnessed. Not from God's perspective. Not from Al-Khidr's perspective. From Moses' perspective. The ship. A crew offers them free passage. Out of kindness. Out of respect. Then Al-Khidr tears a plank from the ship. Water rushes in. The crew panics. Moses sees destruction. Ingratitude. Cruelty disguised as generosity. The boy. A child playing. Laughing. Innocent. Then Al-Khidr takes the boy by the head and kills him. Moses sees murder. The violation of the most sacred law, do not kill the innocent. The wall. A village of hostile people. They refuse food. They refuse shelter. They are selfish, unkind, unwelcoming. Then Al-Khidr repairs their collapsing wall. For free. 4 hours. Moses sees foolish generosity. Reward for evil. Work without wage. 3 events. 3 objections. 3 times Moses was right by human logic. And 3 times he was told, "You do not have patience." Now here is the question for you. What are your 3 events? What is the ship in your life that was damaged and you do not know why? What is the boy in your life that was taken and you cannot understand? What is the wall in your life that stands, or falls, and you have no explanation? Moses is not a prophet from the past. Moses is you. Standing at the edge of your own confusion. Watching. Waiting. Not understanding. And the silence is heavy. But the explanation is coming. The wall is repaired. Moses stands in silence. His 3rd objection hangs in the air. And then Al-Khidr speaks. He does not apologize. He does not console. He simply turns to Moses and says, "This is the parting between you and me. Now I will inform you of the interpretation of that which you could not bear patiently." Moses has waited through 3 trials. The audience has waited through this entire video. Now, finally, the secrets will be revealed. First, the ship. Al-Khidr says, there was a king ruling over the sea. He seized every good ship by force. I damaged the ship so the king would find it flawed and leave it. The crew will repair it. And they will keep it. The crack was not destruction. It was preservation. The hole was not a leak. It was a hiding place. What Moses saw as ruin was actually rescue. Second, the boy. Al-Khidr says, his parents were believers. But the boy, if he had lived, would have oppressed them with rebellion and disbelief. God gave them a better child in his place, more righteous, more merciful. The death was not cruelty. It was mercy ahead of schedule. The grave was not an end. It was a protection. What Moses saw as murder was actually salvation. Third, the wall. Al-Khidr says, beneath it was a treasure belonging to 2 orphaned boys. Their father was a righteous man. Your Lord willed that they reach maturity and extract their treasure as a mercy from him. I did not do it for the villagers. I did it for the orphans. The free labor was not foolishness. It was stored inheritance. The work was not wasted. It was invested. What Moses saw as generosity to the unworthy was actually justice for the unseen. Now place these 2 logics side by side. Human logic sees only the present moment, judges by visible actions, demands immediate fairness. You damaged the ship. You killed an innocent child. You worked for free for the hostile. Divine justice sees the entire timeline, judges by hidden consequences, delivers ultimate preservation. I saved it from a tyrant. I spared his parents from his future tyranny. I protected the treasure of orphans. Here is the painful truth. Human logic is not wrong. It is simply incomplete. It judges a single frame of a film. Divine justice watches the entire movie before writing the review. So here is the rule. When you do not understand, do not leave. When you cannot see, do not scream. When the ship cracks, the boy dies, and the wall stands, stay. The architect does not explain blueprints to foundations. The foundation only needs to hold. And holding is patience. Patience is trust. Trust is the only bridge between your logic and divine justice. At the end of narrating this story to his companions, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "May God have mercy on Moses. I wish he had been patient so that more of their story could be told to us." Even the Prophet, the one telling the story, wished for more. Why did the story stop? Not because Moses was weak. but because the vessel of human patience has a size. And when it is full, nothing more can be poured. God does not show you the whole design if you will only criticize the first stitch. Your vessel has a different size. Maybe you can hold more than Moses. Maybe less. But the architect knows exactly how much patience you have. And he will not give you a trial that exceeds your capacity. The only question is, when the parting comes, will you wish you had stayed a little longer? One day, you will stand at your own junction. Your fish will come alive. Your ship will crack. Your wall will collapse or stand. And you will not understand any of it. That is the moment this video was made for. Not to explain. But to remind you. The story did not end because Moses failed. It ended because his vessel was full. Your vessel is still being filled. Do not leave before the miracle is complete. The architect does not make mistakes. He only makes blueprints you cannot read. Trust the blueprint. Stay a little longer.